Hi, welcome to Detours Understanding Acquired Brain Injury. And I'd like to introduce you to our new host, Jocelyn. And she's going to be introducing herself and explaining her story, what happened. And she'll be talking about the things that not only things that happened to her, but she'll be talking about what she wants to talk about and her focus areas. So, Jocelyn, hi, welcome to Detours
Hi.
Understanding Acquired Brain Injury. And if you could, well, okay, go ahead, please.
So I got my TBI almost 2 years ago, and I got it from sliding on black ice and being hit by another car. And like, when I was hit, I was thrown from the driver's seat to the passenger side, and I hit my head on the right side. And I was not the only one in the car. I had my two kids, who were 3 and 9 months, and my younger sister, who was 11. We all lived, but we all got hurt. Um, and I got the worst of it out of everyone, and I'm okay with that because I'd rather it be me than one of them. So, and I was in a coma for 2 months in the hospital for a total of 4.
Okay. So so 2 months obviously recovering, and then 2 months for rehab or
No, I actually did 2 months of rehab in the hospital, but I'm still doing rehab now.
okay. So okay, well, so how long inpatient, if you don't mind my curiosity, inpatient rehab?
It was for a little over 2 months.
Okay, well, all right. So can you tell what some of the effects of it were on you, some of your symptoms when you were first hurt?
A lot. I couldn't move my right side at all. It was numb. I couldn't talk or walk. So I had to learn all of that all over again.
Any cognitive effects, memory, reading, thinking problems, anything?
Yes, my memory is honestly, I think it's terrible, but I remember some stuff here and there. I can't remember the past 5 years. So, like, I don't remember having my kids at all. I just know I did. So,
Right, yeah.
um, I don't remember any of that day at all. But I guess I was leaving a birthday party for Graceland. I don't remember any of it,
Mm.
but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much any of us can do about, like,
Yeah,
I'm empathetic. It's like with what happened to me. It's like I don't remember the accident. I'm missing chunks of memory. It's not as extensive as yours, but there are bits and pieces that are missing. I don't remember like two weeks before, a bunch of weeks after. Yeah, no, and then I'm missing some pieces in the past too, chunks and bits.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I can't know what it's like to be missing that much, but it's like I do know it's like there are holes. And it's like, yeah, yeah. How about like math or reading, writing, that kind of stuff? Is any of that affected?
yeah. So math, I always go to using a calculator.
Yeah.
Always. I've always been terrible with math.
Mhm.
Reading, my eyes don't focus.
Okay.
So it's harder, but I want to do it.
Mhm.
So it's weird.
And like a lot of us are affected emotionally. irritability, anger, easily angered, overloaded, get argumentative with people, any of that?
Well, that was me before, so I don't feel like anything's new. But I found out I have BPD, which
Mm,
is borderline personality disorder,
right,
and PTSD.
right. Yeah, a lot of us have that one too.
Yeah. But I've known that I've been bipolar for years. So
Okay,
that's not new.
right. And brain injury tends to exacerbate that to begin with. I mean, that makes that worse. Or if you've never had it, can switch that on. Talked
Yeah.
about that with a couple of my fellow hosts and well, my friends here. And it's like, yeah, that can turn that on. If even if you just have a propensity towards it, can what it can do is often like personality changes and differences is magnify
Yeah.
um, those things. And like irritability and anger, that always seems to be the worst of the emotional effects. It's like we
I
have a hair.
actually went through an anger spell for the first year where I get really angry and hit.
That's where the problems come in. Is the physical aggression is yeah.
Yes. And it's calmed down and I know it's wrong, but then it felt right. So I was okay with it.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's another thing. We don't feel badly when we
Yeah.
do stuff we shouldn't, and that's another side effect of injury there.
Yeah.
Um, and it like that can get us in trouble, legal
Yeah.
trouble and stuff like that. Um, how about like thinking, planning, organizing, that kind of stuff, executive dysfunction? That's another one that happens to a lot of us. I know I have
Uh,
some trouble with that too.
so before I was really organized, like
Mm,
really, it was weird. But now I get stressed out, so I hate plans.
mm. Yeah, we
But
have
I still stress about it regardless of what, like if I have a plan, if I don't, it doesn't matter.
right. That's true for I would say just about all of us with any frontal
Yeah.
lobe injury. We just don't do well with that anymore. It's not
Mhm.
even about like being stressed. We just can't anymore. Where we just can't organize our heads
Yeah.
anymore, and we can't. I mean, so we end up with a lot of clutter and mess. It's like, oh well, because and then the lack of drive too.
Yes.
We want a dynamia. We want to do stuff, but it's like I just don't have the smoke. I don't have the
Yeah.
energy to do. That's common too. I mean, I'd say just about everyone I've encountered who has any kind of like beyond a mild bump to the head, it's like,
Yeah.
uh, that stinks too. It's like we need that push to get us going. And it's like,
The one thing I miss that I had before that I don't now is my OCD. Because I'm like, I don't care.
yeah,
Before I freaked out when a mess happened.
yeah,
Now I'm like, whatever.
yeah. And that comes from like that lack of not only the lack of drive, but the neuro fatigue, which is like
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, I'm definitely empathetic about that one too. And it's like, and when you've got kids, it's like, and
The
literally you can
messes follow them.
yeah, but it's like you could talk to any of my hosts, and it's the same for all of us,
Yeah.
every last one of us. And it's like, oh well, whatever, mess, whatever. All of us are the same in that way. I have yet to meet
When I
any.
have the girls, I hate messes. When I don't, I'm okay with them.
Well, you want
It's
them to be
weird.
better, but you know what? It's like I'm sure it wouldn't bother you too much, right? If they're messy,
Yeah.
you may say, "Hey, clean that up," but 15 minutes later, you come by, nothing, you're kind of, right?
Yeah.
So that's something I want to ask you is like, how has your brain injury affected your interactions with your girls?
It really hasn't. I feel like because like they knew I was their mom after the accident.
Yeah.
Like the attachment was still there.
Hmm.
I knew who they were. I didn't know why.
Hmm.
But I've gotten it together. But I get overstimulated with them now. And before I was like, do your thing.
Hmm.
Now it gets overwhelmed or emotional, like freak out.
Right.
But they're kids.
And so how do you manage that when you get overwhelmed without resorting to just yelling and screaming or whatever?
I honestly do box breathing. It's where you breathe in for like 5 seconds and breathe out for 5 seconds, but you do this outside or away from whatever's bothering you.
Hmm,
That calms me down.
I like that. Definitely something to talk about. But you're able to control yourself enough in the
Yeah.
moment to get away and just like now, do
Yes.
they understand the changes in you? What's going on with you? I mean, are they old enough to understand that?
I think Graceland is because she's almost 5,
Mhm.
but Paisley doesn't because she's 2.
Yeah,
But I just try my best to make them
yeah.
happy.
Hmm. I mean, as far as like the 2-year old's concerned, you're just mom, still,
Yeah.
and at that age, they're just barely forming memories. So you'll always be who you are
Yeah.
after for her. Paisley, it'll probably be a little spotty, but you probably won't long term remember particulars. You'll still always be who you are after, and kind of easier, on like because you always be however you are now, but you'll remember,
Yeah.
and it'll be more of a struggle for you versus some of my other friends who host who remember, obviously before and think about, after, and it's like, do they think of me differently? I mean, I have
Yeah.
somebody who approached me, and this is part of why I wanted you on now as opposed to waiting a couple months because there's a lady who approached me about her husband who injured his head, and he was talking, and she was like, the kids asked who are older, who are like 9 or 10, does dad not love me anymore? Because he gets mad, flips out. He doesn't have the self control that you have. And
Yeah.
so it's one of those like you ask, you know, what what could he do? And I want to get the group together, all of us, and talk about sensory overload because based on what she had said to me, it sounds like it's more a matter of like him getting sensory overload, and all of us do. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't like light. Sound is a problem when it's excessive, but it's been 30 years for me, so I suspect for you, sound is more of an issue.
Not really. It's just a lot of people like overwhelm me. So Thanksgiving was
Oh,
hard, but I tried to do it.
wow. And that's another thing, the willingness to at least give it a shot and maybe like
Yeah.
learning tricks. Um, Kim is going to do a video about that too, because she does about concussions and stuff, and she wants to talk about that too. How did you cope with Thanksgiving? What did you do?
I actually already, because it was at my brother's,
Hmm.
and I talked to him before this even happened. I was like, I need a room away from everyone.
Okay,
He was like, that's fine. I can make a room for you and the girls. And that's what we did.
very smart. And it's like just as long as people know you're not doing it because you don't like them, or I think that has to be communicated too, and that you spend at least a little time.
Yeah.
And I think that's important too, that it's not being standoffish, self-centered, rude. It's like because
Yeah.
really that's the biggest problem that we have with brain injury is that the psychosocial problems.
Yeah.
That's what makes people think you're a jerk. It's like if you don't communicate, it's about bad communication because everyone thinks you're an asshole. And you're not. I mean, you're very sweet, you're kind, caring. And so it's like, but a lot of people with brain injury like have trouble conveying and communicating whys. And I often see like posted in groups and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, um, well, you don't owe anyone an explanation. Well, it's not that simple. My tag phrase is
I
it's
honestly feel better when I explain myself, like
me too.
why I'm doing this or doing that. But that's me.
And me.
Yeah.
And if you're not a jerk,
Yeah.
self-centered, rude and obnoxious, you do explain stuff.
Yeah.
Um, sure, if it's only about you, no, you don't explain it. But then don't be surprised when everyone disappears on you.
Yeah.
When you and then, you're busy blaming other people for your problems. No, as the old joke goes, or as the line goes, if you can't find the asshole in your family, it's you.
Yeah.
And it's like, or if everybody in your family is an asshole and you're the only good one, then actually you're the asshole.
Yeah.
Because what it means is you cannot take the perspective of other people. And it's true,
Yes.
oftentimes with traumatic brain injury, we have trouble taking the perspective. Uh,
Yeah.
I have a video on negative attribution bias, which is something that comes with frontal lobe injury. Oftentimes, we'll assume that neutral comments, criticism, or neutral, that's not meant to be harmful. It's not meant to be mean. It's just meant to say, hey, maybe you should do this. Many
Yeah.
people with brain injuries automatically assume hostile intent because they're defensive and because they're used to being, corrected, or because they can't process emotions of other people. This is also a sign of
See,
dementia.
that was a problem for me when the accident first happened
Right.
because I felt like I was always right.
Yes, and nobody is always right,
No.
and that's a sign of brain injury.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, that's what leads to handcuffs, and often leads to a long time in the psych hospital too.
Yeah. I've actually been to the psych hospital a couple times after the TBI,
Yes, that's not unusual. Uh,
but that was because my anger was bad.
yeah, and it leads to one of two
I'm
places:
not mad about it.
psych hospital or jail.
Psych hospital.
Well, no,
Not
no,
going
no,
to
no.
jail.
What I'm saying is, I apologize. What I'm saying is, people who cannot learn to make those
Oh yeah,
adjustments
I get it.
either land in a psych hospital longer and longer until they never get out, or they end up in prison.
Yeah.
Um, 85% of the women who are in jail for violent crimes are there because of brain injury, and more than 50% of the men.
Yeah. That's
Um,
crazy.
yep. And part of that is because we don't have a good way pharmacologically of fixing it, or surgically. We can't go in there and replace the broken things. I'm hopeful someday we do. Um, but it is a check. Now, obviously, you've gained self-awareness and control, and also, unfortunately, with dementia, we see a loss of control. If somebody starts acting out, becoming, suddenly aggressive, becomes churlish, combative, suddenly, who wasn't, this is a red flag for dementia. Brain injury increases our chances, but that's neither here nor there. But, it's like you've gained more control of yourself and have more self-awareness. But I know people who seem to be losing it. And so it's like, I'm concerned. But, it's neither here nor there. Because that's something I want to talk about too, is TBI and ABI in general,
Yeah.
and dementia. All right. So now, as you're moving forward, what are your plans, for yourself, and like,
My plans are just to be happy and honored that I made it 2 years.
well, I definitely am impressed. You have gone for it.
But I wanna do everything I can to get back to work and to get my kids back because they're with their dad right now.
Mhm. Now, are they with him because of what happened to you?
So no. We broke up before the accident even happened.
Oh, okay.
And when it happened, he was like, "Yeah, we can try again. I want to be with her." Not even a year after that, like, came home, we broke up again.
Hmm.
So it was kind of inevitable.
A lot of people can adjust and this is something else too, is to a partner that's got brain injury, and we see this again and again. Even those who remain married are almost like two strangers living under a roof. That's
Yeah,
really unfortunate. Um, what do you want to talk about? What are going to be your focus areas?
my focus areas would be learning to accept that this is a new normal for you,
Mhm.
and just being okay and helping our kids understand what happened to you.
Yeah, definitely an important thing, especially for young kids.
Yeah,
So we'll be talking a lot about like acceptance and young kids, dealing with
just kids in general because it's gonna affect them regardless
yeah.
of if you telling them, hey, this is what happened. My oldest, Gracelyn, remembers.
Mhm.
So she asked me about it. I'm like, I don't know. But Paisley's like, that's mom.
Right.
So just helping them understand that it can happen to anyone.
Yeah, and very true. That's wise and insightful. And you're going back to work, and that's something rare. Um, a lot of people never, whether it's severe or even mild, so-called mild TBI, which is anything but. Most
Mine
people go
was
back to
severe.
yes,
I
but
had a brain bleed and swelling,
mhm,
really bad swelling. But that's what I had.
yeah. Well, no, what I'm saying is people with even mild rarely go back to work, let
Yeah,
alone this quickly. Um, the fact that you are going back with severe, this considering this quickly, is very remarkable. Um,
Keith.
even
I
for
just feel like it's what I've always done since I was 15,
mhm,
and going to work helps me feel normal.
mhm,
But I'm not gonna be that way. But I just wanna feel like I'm doing something.
right. It's interesting. I'm glad that like I said, again, you've made very fast. It's again this reaching towards functional recovery. I have that video on the F word, not using the F word with survivors.
I
Um,
hate that word, so I love that video.
yeah, me too. I think it is wrong to use that with survivors. A you're fine. It's like no, no. I may look okay on the outside, but I'm certainly not fine. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely functional. A functional
I'd
recovery.
say I'm fantastic, but that's me.
Yes, we could call
Because
it,
I am.
fantastic Jocelyn or something like that.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, maybe we'll call it, what do you think? Like fantastic or Jocelyn's fantastic advice or something like that. Um,
that's fine. I like it.
you can call it something else if you want. You can change it, but I'm just thinking, because we all know how we feel about that other F, for Jocelyn's
Yeah.
F words. Um, because Lord knows that's how we feel about it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I actually had people say they would. Well, my birth mom said
Hmm.
she wished I died and that I deserved what happened to me.
What? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's
And
unfortunately.
that's why I don't talk to her.
This is why we need our TBI family, our ABI family. Those of
Yeah.
us, I would say it's like, those of us who are survivors, our family, not sure, we
Yes.
sometimes,
I've
it's
created a
dysfunction.
family within the TBI community.
Yeah, me too. Um, it's dysfunctional. We argue often. Sometimes we don't always get along with our brain injury brothers and sisters, but um, still, we do our best
Yeah.
to help each other out and lift each other up. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
All right. So just want to say, welcome aboard, welcome
Thank you.
a new host, and hopefully, well, we'll be seeing you soon enough. But we
Yeah.
also, any videos you wish to create, you know how that goes. Hopefully, in a week or two, we'll have another video. Any questions or comments for Jocelyn? Any questions you have about any of the things
Please
we
let me
talked
know.
about? Yep, down below, please post your comments in the comment section. for the YouTube videos, and it's like we'll make sure she gets them and she'll answer them as she has time. She's a busy mom, as you can tell. She's doing therapy still, remarkable in such a short amount of time too.
I actually begged my brain doctor for therapy to send me back. I was like, I want it.
Yeah. And it's is it well, as we discussed earlier, Jocelyn and I talked about earlier, it's kind of like going to the gym for your brain,
I
lifting.
love therapy. So I might be weird, but I love it.
What it reflects is your awareness that you need to keep working on it. And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't have that, the anosognosia and stuff. So great. And I wish you, it's like continued rapid healing and wellness. Remember,
Yep.
folks, you heal for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Yes, the fastest healing's in this first 2, 3, 4, 5 years, depending on your brain. It's different for all of us, but
Yeah.
um, you will continue to heal through synaptogenesis and neuroplasticity um,
Yes.
for the rest of your life, as long as you push your brain. If you
Yeah.
get kind of that inertia, then you need a little bit of butt kicking to get it, but you heal for the rest of your life.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
let any doctors or whoever tell you you're done. Nope, you're not done. It's just maybe not as fast. It takes more effort, and
Yeah.
you measure in inches instead of miles, but you
My
still
doctor was said instead of going like year by year, going week by week. Like I want to do this by next week,
right.
not next month or next year.
Yeah.
But he's also said that when I was in a coma to
Well,
my family.
once you have no, it's the first couple years, the recovery is rapid.
Yeah.
But after that, then instead of seeing progress, over weeks and months, maybe over a year or two, then you look back over, like 5 or 10 years and say, look how far I've come.
Yes.
Because how it
I
works,
can't wait for that.
you switch from truly recovery, neurons
Yeah.
that are hurt that get better again, come back online. Then you have to do traditional learning, which takes time and lots of effort. That's why there's the change. The neurons that are going to live, live. The neurons that are going to
Yeah.
die, die. And then after that, it's all learning using the neurons that have survived to
Yeah.
reteach you old skills. So it is learning like a school sense. And that's why it's not as fast.
Speaking of school, I really want to go to school to be a TBI nurse, but I was told to wait until
Well,
past
yeah,
the 2 years.
yes, because then you'll know where you stand and how your learning skills are,
Yeah.
because that is how you recover, and where you stand with like your math skills, your reading skills, your writing skills, your chemistry, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
where you are that way, and you see how effective you are learning. Remember, I didn't go back till 10 years after my injury.
Yeah.
And but I also had to fix my emotions in my head too. I had to get
Yeah.
like, because like, in the early stages of angry, irritable, combative, and all that stuff. And I had to get that stuff straightened out too. There is fix for that, but you do need, I still have bouts, but you need to get that addressed. You need to get your psychosocial skills straightened out.
I honestly,
Not you as an individual. I mean, just
yeah,
people watching, like,
I'm all for like people getting help for whatever their problem is,
mhm,
but I'm not on any medicines at all right now.
good.
And
Uh,
I'm proving to myself that I can figure it out.
right. Now, here's the thing about that, though. Each person is different.
Yes.
Each person is different. You are aware of your deficits.
Yeah.
Um, Many people are not. And many people, because they don't know they have anything wrong, say, I don't need any medicine. Um, and people who fly off the handle think they're fine, and they end up either in jail or in the psych ward.
Yes.
And they wonder why. And everyone's against me, the paranoia and other things. And the problem isn't with everybody else. The problem's with them because they lack
Yes.
awareness, and
The
they'll
main
refuse.
reason or main thing I did to like learn how to process emotions is I have a journal that
Mhm.
I write in and break everything down for this is making me feel this way,
Mhm,
or that's making me feel this.
mhm.
And I've done that for
Yeah,
about a year.
do. That's
And
important. I'm
it's
glad
really
you do that.
helped.
But again, a lot of people do need medicine and they do need
Yeah.
these things, even if they're not aware, or else they end up in
If
a
you
place,
need it, do it.
right? And sometimes they're not aware of it. Again, it's the key thing and the hardest challenge is people
Yeah.
who are unaware of their problems, despite the fact that they have them. They'll refuse, nope, 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 I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. No, they're not fine. And, it's like they'll tell you they're the people who say they're fine who are not fine. And they're
I
the
know
people who,
with me, like
right,
being on, because I was on 15 medicines,
right,
I just felt numb.
yes. And that's a
And
problem.
I hated that feeling.
Mhm.
So that's why I stopped everything.
And oftentimes people who are with manic depressive disorder do that too. And they
Yeah.
also have anosognosia, unaware of the problems they have. And everything goes along fine, and suddenly they get manic. And you find them standing on top of a roof wanting to jump off. So it is a matter of like finding the right balance, finding the right stuff, finding the right counseling, the right, whatever, in order to keep them from ending up either in the hospital or jail. Same thing with brain injury and finding a good balance. You've seen one brain injury, you've seen one brain injury.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Not
different.
every brain injury is the same at
Nope,
all.
no brain injury is exactly the same as the other. And what works for you does not work for me and does not work for our viewers. I do want to stress that. Just because it works for you does not mean it works for
Yes,
anybody
I
else.
am not pushing anything I do on anyone. I'm just saying it works for me.
Right. And that is something else about this channel. We do not endorse what any of our hosts say for you. So just because not being on medicine may work for Jocelyn, that does not mean we are saying you should not. In fact, this channel does not give medical advice in that sense. We explain, but none of our hosts are giving medical advice. Um,
No.
and it's like stopping your meds can be fatal. Suddenly
Yes.
stopping your meds can kill. So I want to stress that. And Jocelyn's not encouraging you to stop your meds. She doesn't want anyone to
No.
die or, anything like that. Please talk to your physician.
Please do.
Yeah, I don't think she wants to be responsible for someone killing themselves or killing somebody else.
No.
And neither do I. So we want to stress this is not advice in that sense. We just are talking about what works for us. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then we will see you again. As I said, please post below any questions, anything like that. And we'll see you again. Please like, subscribe, share, and we'll
Please
see
do.
more of Jocelyn. And please subscribe to Detours, and we'll see you around again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.